So, welcome. This is the first time I ever do anything like this in reference to model cars. If you guys don't know who I am, I'm Manny with Tropical Glitz. And I usually do a lot of educational videos, how-to videos for painting, different things. But today I'm doing something different. A couple weeks ago, I was in New Jersey at the NNL East. If you guys aren't familiar with what that is, NNL East is a lowrider show. Well, no, it's not a lowrider show. It's a model car show, and it takes place, and they have them all over the country, but this particular one is one of the bigger ones. There's another one called Acme that's in Georgia. So at the NNL East, at this model car show, I came across this pretty interesting thing. It was a pre-built model for $15. And I said, why not? I figured I can buy the kit and build it, but I decided to buy this one that's already built. And what I'm gonna end up doing, taking it all apart. I took this apart already yesterday. And then I'm gonna take off the chrome, take off the glass. When I was growing up and I started to build model cars when I was a young kid, that's how I got into doing the actual cars. I used to dip them in brake fluid in a container just like this and leave them there, and the paint will completely come off and slide off. So this time I decided to look around, and I see a lot of people online are using purple power. That's like some type of degreaser. I have industrial grade alcohol at work that we use to make paint with, but I decided to give this a try. I've never tried it. I wanted to see how it takes off this paint. And then I noticed that this model, I'll show you guys here, has a little damage right here and here. It's not a big deal. I'm gonna end up stripping the paint, repairing this, most probably zap a gap, build it up, and put filler on it. And then I'm gonna actually do a whole how-to video from beginning to end, how to custom paint this with automotive paint and get a show quality finish. And hoping you guys follow along. I think for the project, I'm gonna actually most probably do a custom paint job mimicking the same style that this has. You know, it has a pretty cool wood grain, and it gradually goes from dark to light. I might do something like that, but obviously in Tropical Glitz fashion, maybe something bright. I'm thinking of violet. I love violet. Violet's one of my favorite colors that do a violet candy, but hopefully you guys enjoy this. Let's break this apart carefully. I want to save as much as I can. So the glue that looks like they used on this wasn't a very strong glue. Almost seems like it was an Elmer's glue of some sort. Let's see if we can take off the windshield. And the back glass looks like it's a little bit more than I thought. There we go. I remember growing up, I was able to put brake fluid and dip even the clear glass in brake fluid. And it didn't really do anything to the glass at all. But this, I'm flexing this little by little back and forth. I don't want to break it. I don't want to break the body if I don't have to, you know, because it's just then more repair work for me to do. But I've never used degreaser, so I'm interested to try out this. I haven't built a model in years. This is how I started my professional career. I started off with building model cars. There we go. Perfect. Started off building model cars, and then I live in a very quiet neighborhood, and the most you ever get in sounds are usually birds in our neighborhood. And we live by a small airport, and some airplanes that fly into that small airport, but it's usually really quiet. And today I'm doing this video, I have a lawnmower right next door and a lot of background noise, but it is what it is. We'll edit it out. All right, so lawnmower just stopped. I put it in the solution of purple power. I want to see how long it takes this to strip. Usually when I used to do this, I used to use .3 brake fluid in a smaller container. My wife was nice enough to buy me this container. I usually had a way smaller container so it didn't have to take up so much volume of fluid, but I want to see how long it takes to strip this off. And then for me to come back, clean it, and get it ready to paint it from beginning to end. We're gonna end up using automotive paint. It's all the Tropical Glitz products we have, our primers, all the way from the primer to the colors and the 2K clear coat. And I think for this one, we're gonna end up using aerosol 2K primer that we have. And then everything else I'm gonna end up doing with a touch-up gun and finishing up with the touch-up gun also. And then I'll do most probably, I'll pick another model car we have. There is a Jimmy Flintstone resin body, and maybe that's something I'll do with just spray cans, aerosol, with Tropical Glitz product. But I want to kind of show guys, there's a lot of guys that are like worried about the RTSs and how it works and all that. It's very simple to use, and I want to show you guys how to do it. So stay tuned.
A few moments later.
All right, so I went on Facebook, and everybody told me I used the wrong Purple Power, because I had this since yesterday in Purple Power, and I had someone reach out and said I need to use this brand degreaser to strip the paint. This has been sitting here for a day, and well, obviously it looks like it stripped the paint. This was painted black, stripped this paint, but it really didn't strip. This and made the decal soft, but the green paint itself is on there really good. You guys can see that. This is a sticker and the hood's in there. So what we're gonna end up doing is pouring this out back into this, and we're gonna fill this container out with the super clean, and hopefully it helps out strip the paint so we can get this ready for paint. You know, we have to do a little body work for this, but see if we can strip this down and do a custom Tropical Glitz cutter on it. So they told me to put this in the sun. And let the sun, usually I do this with brake fluid. This is when I was growing up doing model cars. I had a container like this with brake fluid, and that's how it stripped the paint.
Is that the whole thing?
Yeah, it's the whole gallon.
Are you supposed to use the whole gallon?
I'm gonna use the whole gallon.
When you're done, do you think you're gonna like try putting it back into the bottle?
No, most probably I'll keep this to strip other cars. You know.
A few moments later.
All right, last time I was on the camera, I told you guys about me using the super clean for the model body, and it's been here for a few days, and let's see how it looks. Sorry, I was looking down to see. Let's look how it looks here. All right, so this has been sitting here for 3 or 4 days. Yep. It's done nothing. Took all the decal off, but nothing for the paint. And it took off this paint here. So what we're gonna end up doing is, did it do anything here with the paint? Oh yeah, it did. It's actually working. All right, cool. Let me get a brush and make this happen. That's great. All right, let's get this going. All right, so I didn't even realize it, but it actually does work. I started hit it with water, and it really does delaminate everything. You have to really get from underneath of it and scrub it. Didn't realize that once it goes under, it really does take everything off. It takes care of all the primer. So that is actually pretty awesome. Look at that, comes right off. So let's see if we can get this started here. This was totally, I can tell this was a 2K product on top. So usually when I do this with brake fluid, that's how, when I was a kid, this is how I would do it. The brake fluid would literally just slide and melt off. So I can tell that the primer underneath was a 1K product. And when I say 1K, it means that it's not a 2K, like it doesn't have a catalyst on it. Look how the primer just melts but the top coat is a nice 1K product. So usually brake fluid will wrinkle this up and it would just slide off almost slides off like a water decal. So I'm sure people are gonna say, hey, you put your hands in the degreaser and whatever. I've had some stronger stuff that I use to clean engine blocks. Obviously wear your gloves, but I know that this stuff is not really that strong because it's more designed for the retail space or direct to consumer. It's not like the industrial stuff. The industrial stuff that I use, I go to an actual manufacturer here in town, and all they do is make degreaser in bulk, 500, 600, 800 gallons at a time. So this is looking pretty good. I need this. This is my little 8-pitter here. Nope, not broke. Alright, so what I'm gonna end up doing is putting this back in the tank just for tomorrow. Till tomorrow, I'm gonna get a little bit more of some of these spots in here and whatever. Then I'm gonna end up fixing this, building this back up, and I think what I'm gonna end up doing is shaving this completely, shaving the door handles, and give me a whole seam look. Imagine that without a column, like if it was a one-piece window, and I'll do that from there. But it's looking good so far. It actually worked. I really didn't think so. It doesn't feel like it made the plastic brittle either. This actually worked. I'm gonna actually try to go to my local shop, one that I buy my industrial stuff, and out of curiosity, I might just ask. I'm gonna buy their version, and I'm gonna see if it works and if it does the same thing or even better.